Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Wait a minute.
Bye, guys.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh,
Thank you, John.
Yep, there you go. Okay, Tim.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tim Potter, and I have Donna Cadilla on the line. This is your open enrollment. The decisions that you make now are for January 1st. The decisions that you make will be good for a year unless you have a family status change. So this is the time to make additions, change plans, add or delete dependents, so forth. We're gonna spend a few minutes walking through the plans. There aren't really any major changes or any changes at all, so it's all good news. And if you have any questions, please let us know. So take it away, Donna.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining the 2020 Employee Benefits webinar for the 2020 Employee Benefits for Enduracare. So we do have quite a bit to go through, so we're going to start this off by going to the agenda. So the medical plan with Cigna, we currently have our 3 plan options, and we will remain with our current 3 plan options for the upcoming plan year. We have our open access HSA Tier 1, we have our Tier 2, and then we have our MVP plan. There are no plan changes on the plans. There is one small change on the HSA Tier 1 plan on the plan's deductible in order for it to remain compliant for a health savings account. So we did have to make a small adjustment on that, but otherwise there really are no plan changes for the upcoming plan year on the medical plans. Then we'll talk about the medical plan and how it works with a health savings account. The dental with Cigna, we're going to be renewing again with Cigna. Again, no plan changes on that as well. So we'll continue with the Cigna benefit as well as the Cigna network for the dental. The vision, we actually are going to be changing carriers, so we're going to be changing to VSP for the vision plan, which is VSP happens to have one of the largest national networks for vision plans. So it'll be a good change with the benefits remaining the same, but a much larger network. Then we're going to talk about the life and the disability plans with One America, the employee assistance program, the additional benefits you can purchase through Sun Life, which are the critical illness and the accident coverage, and then what you need to do for open enrollment 2020. So this screen is a comparison of our HSA Tier 1 and our HSA Tier 2 plans. One of the things I do want to mention is that you'll notice that all 3 plans utilize the Open Access Plus network. So all 3 plans have a national network with providers and facilities nationwide, and it's open access, so that means you don't need a referral to see a specialist. It is a self-referring plan. So all 3 plans utilize the Open Access Plus network. So if you're in the HSA Tier 1 today and you want to move to the MVP or vice versa, it's all the same network, all the same providers. So there is nothing different as far as networks for all 3 plans. All 3 plans also offer out-of-network benefits. However, caution, when you do go out-of-network to a provider that is not contracted with Cigna, first of all, you are going to have a higher deductible and max out-of-pocket to meet, and the coinsurance levels that Cigna splits the claims with is a little bit lower. But one of the things, as I mentioned, because the provider is not contracted with Cigna, there's a good chance you could be balance billed for certain services. So once you have met your plan deductible under the out-of-network benefits and Cigna does begin to pay their portion of their coinsurance, it's going to be based on their allowable amount. And if that provider does not accept Cigna's allowable amount for that service, you could very well be balance billed. So as I said, it's the Open Access Plus network. It's a very large network. You should not have any difficulty finding providers or facilities in the network. So with that being said, with our HSA Tier 1 plan, the deductible did go up a little bit. It went up to $1,400 for a single or $2,800 for family, and that is because in order to remain compliant under the IRS, to work in conjunction with a health savings account, we had to adjust the plan deductible. It had to go up a little bit. So that is the only change on the Tier 1 plan, and as I said, the Tier 2 and the MVP plan do not have any plan changes. So you can see on our Tier 1 plan, you have your single deductible, you have a family deductible. Family is made up of an employee plus one or more dependents. So if you are enrolled as an employee with any dependents under the medical plans for Cigna with these high deductible health plans, you must meet the family deductible, and that would either be by one person or a combination of everybody in the family. The deductible is going to be made up of all the services under the medical plan as well as your prescription plans, your prescription coverage. Once the deductible has been met, then the plan coinsurance begins. Cigna is going to pay 80%, and you're going to be responsible for 20% coinsurance until the maximum out-of-pocket has been met for the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 plans. You'll notice that the out-of-pocket maximum on the Tier 1 is $3,500 as a single or $7,000 for a family. Remember, your maximum out-of-pocket is going to be made up of your deductible and your coinsurance and your prescription costs. Once an individual or a full family have met their out-of-pocket maximum, you will be covered at 100% for the rest of the calendar year under Cigna. So therefore, that means no other services would be charged to you or prescriptions. All three plans do cover preventive care at 100%. However, preventive care, there is a very good guide on the mycigna.com site that is called a preventive guide. It's a couple pages long that talks about everything that's covered under preventive care. We get a lot of questions when someone goes to their primary care provider for their routine annual physical, and the lab work that the provider is going to order is your lipid panel for your cholesterol. That's it. So if your provider decides to also check a vitamin D level under that lab while you're getting your lipids done, that's going to come back as a charge. And you're going to see that what you would be responsible for. And a lot of people say, I went for my routine physical. I don't understand why I'm paying for that, because certain services may not be covered under preventive care. So that guide that's out on the MyCigna site is very helpful, and it'll show based on, women or men or children, what exactly is covered under the preventive care umbrella. Okay, and then you can see the continuation of everything that is covered under the plan's deductible, and then the 20% coinsurance in network after your deductible has been met. For your prescription expenses under the Tier 1, Tier 2 plan, again, your prescriptions are going to go toward the medical plan deductible. After that has been met, your plan coinsurance will pay 20% for the cost of your drugs until you meet your maximum out-of-pocket. I'm sorry, you would pay 20% for the cost of your prescriptions until you meet your maximum out-of-pocket. Cigna is going to be covering 80%. But please note that Cigna also has a no-cost preventive generic and brand name drug program, which is very, very nice. So for those people that are on preventive medications, such as statins for cholesterol, or maybe you're taking insulin for diabetic reasons, or any of those type of drugs, these are actually covered at 100% by Cigna on your behalf. So these drugs don't even go towards the plan deductible or the plan coinsurance because they are being covered by Cigna at 100% for these preventive drugs. So there is a 2020 formulary out on the mycigna.com site, and the drug formulary will give you the listing of all of these generic and brand name drug programs that are going to be covered at 100% for 2020. So that's really good news because, with the high deductible health plan, typically with your drugs going toward the plan deductible, and in this case, these certain preventive drugs will be covered at 100% by Cigna. So this is our minimum value plan as well, and you can see it works just like the other plans. It does have in and out of network benefits, except the deductible is a little bit higher than the other two plans. Maximum out of pocket on this plan as well. Once a single person or an individual in a family, or the family members meet that out of pocket, they're going to be considered having met their limit, and then coverage is going to be covered at 100% for the rest of the year by Cigna. And your preventive care is also covered under the MVP plan as well. And it works exactly the same way, but you notice that the coinsurance level is a 30%, so that means after your deductible, Cigna is going to pay 70% coinsurance for your claims, and you're going to be responsible for 30% coinsurance. Prescriptions work exactly the same, so when under the MVP plan, you need to pick up a prescription. It's going to go toward the plan deductible. After that has been met, you're going to pay 30% coinsurance. However, the preventive generic and brand name drug program is also covered under the MVP plan as well. So for those of you that are in the MVP plan or are looking to go into the MVP plan, you can still take advantage of the preventive medications being covered at 100%. All three plans also offer what we call telehealth services. And telehealth, teledoc services, basically all employees have the opportunity to do a consultation with a board-certified physician from the comfort of their home or from the office. Basically, you do a face-to-face time, a Skype, or a phone call with a board-certified physician rather than going to the office, to their office for an office visit. So it's very, very convenient. If it's a weekend and you can't get in to see your provider and you think you're coming down with the flu, it's a long weekend and your child maybe has an ear infection and you're not going to be able to get to the urgent care center, or maybe the urgent care center's closed, the telehealth is a great way to have this consultation with the doctor from the comfort of your home. So it's very convenient and it's very easy. And you can see some of the services that they'll do the telehealth visit for, colds and flu, sinus infection, ear infection, insect bites as well, or skin rashes. So again, just a very convenient way to have a consultation with a provider, and you don't have to wait to go to their office. So the cost for the telehealth visits under all three plans is $55, which is going to go towards your plan deductible. If the deductible has been met, then you're going to pay 20% coinsurance for Tier 1 and Tier 1 and Tier 2, 20% coinsurance of that $55. If you're in the MVP, it's going to be a 30% coinsurance after your deductible. One of the things I do want to say is that you want to pre-register for this service. So just like going to a new doctor's office for the first time, you're going to have to fill out paperwork. You're going to have to fill out your personal information as well as a medical history. You can do that from the mycigna.com site. They use two networks, Amwell and MD Live. And you can register at both. You can register at one or the other network. And you just want to fill that paperwork out ahead of time. And this way, when you're ready to use the service, you can just call the phone number, set your consultation, and the doctor will reach out to you. So this is a great service if you're traveling, if you're away from home and you're traveling, or you have children away at college, have them enroll in the teledoc. And if they're over 18, they do have to register themselves, but it's a great way to for children away at school to have a consultation with a doctor as well if they're feeling run down. So Cigna is also promoting the behavioral health for 2019 and 2020. It's a very important subject matter to them. So they have put together a behavioral health program which benefits employees. The first one being if you want to see a behavioral health provider, you can actually go to an in-network behavioral health provider and pay zero cost for up to 3 face-to-face visits for that service. The other nice advantage as well is that, like the telehealth, you can do a virtual or a phone call with a provider, behavioral health provider, from the comfort of your home as well without having to go to their office. Now, you're going to search for a telehealth provider for behavioral health from your mycigna.com site. You want to go to you want to look for a provider under specialty, and then in the behavioral directory link, if you want to do the phone consultation with a behavioral health provider. Now, the cost for the phone consultation with behavioral health is going to be the same cost as an office visit. Unlike the MD Live, where it was a $55 cost, it will be the full cost of an office visit with an in-network provider. However, the difference being that you can do it over the phone rather than having to go to the provider's office to see them face-to-face. So how the medical plans work with the health savings account. So there are two pieces to the high deductible health plan. You have your medical plan, which is the piece with Cigna. That's their network of providers, nationwide network of providers. It's the preventive care being covered at 100%, and it's the discounted services when you do see in a network provider. The second piece to that is the health savings account, and that's the account that you open up when you enroll in a plan. You open this account up under your Social Security number, and it's an account that you own. You can contribute money to this account pre-tax through payroll contributions, and it goes into the HSA account. And the money that's in that account, you're going to use to pay for the services that you incur under the plan deductible or under the plan co-insurance. The nice thing is that the money rolls over year after year. You don't lose any of the money in the account. Another nice feature is that you can change your contribution amount monthly. So if you start out with a higher amount and you need to go a little bit lower, you can change your HSA contribution throughout the year on a monthly basis. You can increase it as long as you're not going over the max contribution limit. You can lower it. You can even stop it and then pick it up at another time. So how the components work together is you're going to incur a medical service or you're going to purchase a prescription. It's going to go under the medical plan. You're going to use your HSA to pay for the expenses that you incurred, or you can pay out of pocket and pay yourself out of the HSA account at a later date. And then once you reach the deductible, you're going to pay the co-insurance, and then if you do meet the max out-of-pocket, everything is covered at 100%. The other nice thing about the health savings account is that you can invest the money in mutual funds. So when you start putting money into the account, once you get to a minimum balance, I think is $2,000, you can then take that balance and roll it into mutual funds to receive a better rate of return on the money that's in the account. So the other nice thing about health savings account is that it's truly a tax-free benefit. It's going to go into the account tax-free through payroll deductions. It's going to grow tax-free. So even if you have the mutual funds or you don't have the mutual funds and you just have the money in the general account, there is a return on the money that you will not have to pay taxes on. So when that money grows, you're not paying the tax on that difference. And as long as you're using it for eligible medical, dental, or vision expenses, it's going to come out tax-free. So it truly is a great vehicle to put money into the account and pay for those expenses with this tax-free dollars. So when it's time to use the account, you're going to go to your provider or a facility. You're going to give them your Cigna ID card, and you're not going to pay at the time of service. The provider or the facility is going to submit the claim to Cigna, and then you're going to receive a bill from the provider or the facility. And at that same time, once the claim has been processed, you're going to receive an explanation of benefits. Only then, when you've received your explanation of benefits, you pay the provider, because you want to make sure you're paying the amount that's on the explanation of benefits and not the bill. The providers may be sending out their bills before Cigna actually processes the claim, so you don't want to pay the provider too early, because if Cigna processes it and you've overpaid the provider, now you've got to you've got to expect to get a credit or a refund back from that provider. So what you can do is just pay the provider once you receive your explanation of benefits. So it's very important to go out to the mycigna.com site to check those explanation of benefits. I don't think Cigna mails them out anymore. However, they will email them to you, and they're always available on the mycigna.com site. If you have the HSA Bank through Cigna, you can also opt to have your claims paid automatically out of your account as they become incurred. Or you can pay out of pocket and pay yourself back at a later date. Okay, so the next screen is the employee contributions for all three plans for 2020, and you'll notice that we are going to continue with our wellness program. So for those of you that partake in the wellness program, you will receive a discount for the cost of your medical contributions. And in order to participate in the wellness program, all you need to do is do your routine annual physical and then do a health risk assessment out on the mycigna.com site. So as long as you're doing both of those by March 31st of 2020, you will receive the wellness discount on your employee contributions. Now, at this time, it's only for employees, so therefore, if you have dependents on the medical plan, they are not required to get the physical and do the health risk assessment. That's only for the employee. If you just recently had your routine annual physical, or it was a couple months ago, or the beginning of the summer, or early in the spring, you can still use that physical as proof of getting your checkup done because, again, it is only every 12 months. So anytime after March 31st of 2019, you can use any explanation of benefits for your routine physical as proof for your wellness visit with your provider, and then do your health risk assessment as well. So the 2020 HSA contribution, so each year the IRS does increase the employee contribution level into the HSA, and the maximum amount for 2020 is $3,550 if you're enrolled as a single on the medical plan. And if you are enrolled with an employee plus dependents, it's $7,100. If you are over the age of 55, the IRS does allow for what they call a catch-up contribution of an additional $1,000 into the account. Now remember, Enduracare is also contributing to your HSA on your behalf if you're enrolled in the Tier 1 or the Tier 2 medical plan. If you're a single, Enduracare is going to contribute $600 into the account. If you're an employee spouse or an employee child, it's going to be $1,300. And if you're enrolled as a family, which is 2 adults and 1 child or multiple children, Enduracare is going to contribute $2,000 into the HSA account. So you have to take that employer contribution into account when you're looking at how much you want to contribute to. If you're considering contributing the max for 2020, please just make sure you're taking into account the employer's contribution, because you don't want to overfund the account. You'll end up just having to take money out. Okay, so we're going to move forward with the dental and the vision plans. So as I said, we're going to stay with Cigna for the dental for 2020. Your Cigna dental plan is a PPO plan, so that allows you the freedom to choose any provider, whether in or out of the network. However, if you do use a Cigna provider, you're going to take advantage of the in-network discounted amounts for those services. So it actually will make your annual maximum go a lot further when you're using an in-network provider. To find providers, you can go to Cigna.com. If you're currently in the dental plan and you're still looking for providers, you can go to mycigna.com. The system will know that you're in the dental plan, and it's just an easier way to find providers. You're going to look for providers in the total DPPO network. And then you're also going to notice that when you're looking for scrolling through the providers, you're going to see some of them that are listed as a DPPO Advantage network. So that's basically the Advantage network is inside the total DPPO. And if you go to an Advantage network provider, their discounts are even deeper. So you'll benefit from much deeper discounts by going to an Advantage provider for the dental plan, as opposed to a regular PPO provider. So you can see that you have a max benefit per person per calendar year of $1,500. It is a combined $1,500 for in or out of network. The plan does have a deductible for your basic and your major services as it's applied. It's $50 with a $150 family max. and it does have orthodontics. You'll notice that out-of-network providers, it says 90th percentile. So if you do go to a provider that's not in network, there is a minimal chance that you would be balance billed, only because the plan does pay at the 90th percentile of reasonable and customary, or usual and customary. And that's one of the highest levels of allowable amounts that the dental carriers will reimburse for services, and most providers will accept that. So if you're going to an out-of-network provider, it's very likely that they will accept that allowable amount that's paid by Cigna. So there is a minimal balance of being balance billed. Minimal chance of being balance billed. The vision plan, as I said, we're going to be moving to VSP, which is a nationally a very large vision provider network. The plan design is going to be exactly what it is today that we have with Cigna. However, with a vision plan, it's beneficial to go to an in-network provider because you pay plan copays for your services. So you're going to pay copays for your exams and your lenses, and the reimbursement level for your contact lenses or your glasses is going to be a lot higher than if you go to an out-of-network provider. And for provider, you can go to www.vsp.com/iDoctor to look for your providers in that VSP network. And when in doubt, you can call VSP at the Member Services 800 number just to confirm that a particular provider or facility is in network with VSP. And that's true of Cigna for the medical and the dental as well. If you're out on the provider websites and you're not sure if a provider is a network, or if your search results are not giving you, the information that you're looking for, you can always call Member Services, either with Cigna or with VSP, to confirm that your providers are in the network. So these are the employee contributions for the 2020 plan year for the dental and the vision as well. And to continue on, the life and the disability that we have with One America. So as an eligible full-time employee of Enduracare, the company is going to provide you basic life insurance coverage as well as basic accidental death and dismemberment coverage of up to $25,000. So when you do go out to the Paycom website to look at the benefits, please make sure you do review your beneficiary designations and update them if needed. It's very, very important that we have your beneficiary designations as you wish them to be to receive the proceeds if something were to happen to you. If you have somebody listed there that it should not be receiving the proceeds and something does happen to you, the company is going to pay out the last person named. So it's very important that if you had any plan changes, or I should say life changes, you got married, you recently got divorced, maybe your children are older and you want to name your children as beneficiaries, please make sure to go to the Paycom site to do so. You can also purchase additional voluntary life and AD&D with One America. This is going to supplement what you have now through Enduracare with that flat $25,000. So you can purchase additional coverage, which is going to be paid through payroll contributions, and you can purchase coverage for yourself, your spouse, and your dependent children. The employees can elect up to 3 times their annual earnings. The overall max is $500,000. And you can also purchase accidental death and dismemberment coverage as well. That's 100% matching the life insurance if you wish to purchase that coverage as well. What's nice about the benefit is that it's also portable. So if you do purchase it as an employee of Enduracare and you're paying payroll deductions, if you leave the company, the coverage, you can take the coverage with you. So evidence of insurability may be required. So last year at open enrollment, for those of you who were at the company last year when we had our open enrollment for the voluntary life, you had the opportunity to purchase up to $100,000 of coverage without any health questions asked. Now, if you did not participate at that time, you can certainly enroll into the voluntary life for 2020. However, you will have to answer health questions for any amount that you want to be enrolled for. Now, if you did elect it last year and you elected an amount under the $100,000 and you want to increase that, you can certainly increase up to the $100,000 for 2020 without answering any health questions. However, if you want more than the $100,000, you will have to fill out what we call an evidence of insurability form with those health questions on there. Disability insurance. So the company offers all full-time employees, all eligible full-time employees, long-term disability coverage. This is probably one of the most important benefits after your medical coverage that the employer is paying for. If you become disabled due to an illness or an injury and you're unable to work, this policy is going to pay you a benefit for as long as you remain disabled or partially disabled. So the coverage does go up to age 65, and the benefits begin after 90 days. So Enduracare does provide employees core disability coverage, but there's an additional buy-up long-term disability benefit that you can purchase your additional coverage on for as well. You also have voluntary short-term disability. So you see here that the benefits for the long-term disability don't begin until 90 days of disability. The short-term disability is basically going to bridge the gap until that long-term disability period starts to pay a benefit. So you can purchase voluntary short-term disability that's going to begin after 14 days of continuous disability. It's non-occupational, so it's either illness or injury, and it's going to replace 60% of your weekly earnings. The overall max benefit is $2,000. So once the benefits begin on the 14th day, they're going to last for 11 weeks up until that time when your long-term disability period would then take over. Employee Assistance Program, the company also has provides all employees and their dependents at no cost an Employee Assistance Program or an EAP service. And basically an EAP service is a counseling or referral service for multitude of items. So perhaps you would like to meet with a lawyer and put some wills together, or maybe you want to meet with a financial planner. That's exactly what an employee assistance program can help with. And of course, it also offers confidential counseling as well. So you can do telephone counseling and or referral services for counseling programs. You get up to 3 sessions paid for by the EAP. And again, this is counseling for stress, anxiety, depression. With the holidays coming up, a lot of people have issues with depression, job issues, relationship, marital conflicts, perhaps issues with children. So that's exactly what this program will help with. So it's very important that all employees do know that it's available. It's 100% confidential, so no one at Enduracare knows who uses the plan or for what. But we do want to make sure that everybody is aware that it's available. Now, John had sent out an enrollment guide last week with the announcement of the webinar, and there is a full-page information in that enrollment guide about the Employee Assistance Program through ComPsych. So please note that it is available for all employees and their dependents. So moving along for the critical illness coverage with Sun Life, this is another employee-paid product. And critical illness is basically a policy that's going to pay a lump sum amount should you be diagnosed with cancer or suffer a heart attack or stroke. So what you do is you purchase a lump sum amount, and I believe it's in amounts of $5,000, so you can purchase $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 for yourself and your dependents. And if you are diagnosed with cancer or anyone suffers a heart attack or a stroke, this policy is going to pay out that lump sum benefit directly to you. You can use that money to pay for your medical expenses, or you can use it to pay for everyday expenses, childcare, groceries, mortgage, rent, and so on and so forth. The other nice thing about this critical illness is that when you do get your routine annual physical, if you submit the paperwork, the plan is actually going to pay you a benefit upon proof of your routine physical. I think the benefit is $50. So just for getting your routine physical, which you should be doing anyway in order to partake in the wellness program, you can actually get paid to do your routine physical from the Sun Life Critical Illness Policy. Sun Life also offers accident coverage policy. Accident coverage policy is, again, it's an employee-paid benefit, and it pays out cash benefits for injuries or treatments or emergency room visits due to a covered accident. So, for example, if you suffer a severe burn, perhaps you have a laceration or a fracture or suffer a concussion, or your children do, this policy actually pays out a benefit based on those covered treatments or accidents. So you can purchase this for yourself, your spouse, and your dependent children as well. So our 2020 benefit election period, so everybody is going to go out to Paycom. As per John's notification last week, it is what we call a passive enrollment. And a passive enrollment means if you are not making any plan changes, or you're not adding dependents, or you're not switching from one medical plan to the next, you don't need to go out to the Paycom system and re-enroll. Your benefits are just going to roll forward into the new plan year. However, please go out there and look at the benefits that you're enrolled in. Make sure that you are in the plans that you want to be enrolled in, because as Tim said, once January 1st comes around, you can't make a plan change unless you have a qualifying life event. So everybody please review their benefits, making sure that you're in the plans that you want to be in. I do want to mention that if you are contributing to the HSA account, you will definitely have to re-elect the amount you want to contribute into the HSA account for 2020. So that is the only benefit that you will have to re-enroll in if you're contributing to one now, and you want to continue to contribute to an HSA for 2020. You also want to review those beneficiary designations for the employer-paid life as well as the voluntary life if you're currently in that or you're going to take that. So open enrollment was opened on Friday, November 22nd, and it's going to close at midnight on Sunday, December 1st. We do know that this is kind of a shorter period of time to make your elections. However, it is very helpful that it's going to be a passive enrollment. So again, if you're not making any plan changes, or if you're waiving out all of the benefits, you're going to continue to waive out of the benefits, you do not need to go into the system and make those changes. It will just roll forward. So if you have any questions regarding the Paycom site, it's probably best to bring those to John or Cindy in HR. However, if you do have any benefit questions, specifically the medical, the dental, you can reach out to me at Broadreach at the office, 973-377-8222, and I can certainly help with the questions that you have on the benefits. Okay, that concludes the presentation for the 2020 plan year. Again, thank you all for participating in the webinar, and have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.